right. All
I
right.
think we're set.
How about that?
And everything's all set and go. We want to... Which one was the crowd applause?
Oh, the crowd applause. Nice.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Totally pre-recorded in Marion, Kansas.
it's Kansas City Nights.
Oh,
I'm Brian Rice.
I'm Shannon Gieber.
And tonight our guest is none other than Dan Leap. Shannon, want to go with the intro?
Pompous Jack and owner of the Guitar Lamp.
Which is where we're at right now.
Right. Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Well, thanks for having me on, you guys.
Yeah, so you're coming in clear on the mic, so as long as you hear us fine, and, I may ask you to lean forward a little bit, but that's about it. All right.
Testing 1, 2.
You're
I
good.
think we're all
You're
systems
good.
go, so
Thanks
hopefully...
for letting us come over to your place.
Yeah. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah. And you've shot videos, your music videos in here, right?
Yeah. We shot Give It a Chance right downstairs.
Okay.
And we shot Caught Your Eye up here. Yeah.
All right. And that was, I wish I would have been here in the crowd for that one. But that's where you had the craps table. Was it the craps table?
The craps table was in Give It a Chance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, those are fun. Guys.
They were fun to shoot. We had a good time.
And they're
making
fun
them.
songs.
Yeah. Thank you.
How many original songs do you have?
So we have 5 originals out on Spotify and Apple, anywhere you can buy music. And then we also have a cover of Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison, that we licensed and re-released as kind of a heavier groove that we kind of remade.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
Good version of that. Nice. And since we're talking about your songs, how many songs are in your set?
So we, a lot of bands do a 45-minute set. We do an hour and a half to start.
Okay.
So I believe there's 22 songs to make an hour and a half set. Mm-hmm. And we do mainly covers in Pompous Jack. We throw 2 originals in the first 22 songs.
Nice. And Brian, you've got to see their stage show.
Yeah, I've seen them.
In my opinion, it's in Kansas City. I think you have the best stage show.
We do too, hence the name Pompous Jack.
Exactly. No kidding. The other one is Almost Kiss. I think Almost Kiss has a really quality stage show as well.
Yeah, they got a good one.
Right.
We have the same sparkers that they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, those are. I mean, that's kind of is that newer age type of.
It's a cold spark. So it's like the old days. We used to put the gunpowder in, and the little grated up metal flake, and that's where you got the spark. And it definitely was not cold back in them days.
Yeah.
And, so now you buy this little machine on Amazon. And Scott from the Almost Kiss is the one that told me.
Okay.
He told me where to get them, and so I went out and got me some too. Same ones.
Yeah, nice. Well,
but they don't have a rotating drum riser, so we got one up on
that. They do not
that.
have a rotating drum riser, drum set. That the whole thing is great. Since we're talking about your stage setup, one of my favorite things is when it's somebody's birthday, you send them the birthday video of you shooting the amp.
Yeah.
And that's a great one. That's
Thank
a great
you.
one.
Thank you.
I always, every year, I'm like, hey, I guess I'm going to be expecting something around July 8th. That's my birthday. You've sent it to me every year. But you do a really good job of sending that to people.
Thank you. Yeah. We like to send out the birthday video and show off our. It starts out with the rotating drum riser, and then the exploding guitar cabinet, fire shooting guitar, and
man, you just can't go
wrong.
We're
loaded for bear.
You are loaded for bear. Nice, real nice. Well, let's go ahead and take it back then. And Brian, we were talking, and Dan and I went. I knew you went to the same high school as me.
Yeah.
Shawnee Mission Northwest. Had no idea we graduated in the same class.
Yeah.
Was this when Dan had short hair?
No,
Flat top.
I-
Did you have a flat top in the 80s?
I've had long hair since I can remember.
I feel like you were born with long hair.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and yeah, didn't really know you.
No, I didn't know you. It's so weird that we
Right.
didn't hang out.
Right, but I think you knew Holly.
Knew Holly and knew
yeah.
Adam.
Knew
and,
Adam, yeah.
I knew
Luella.
everybody you've mentioned.
Right. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
well, I'll just drop other names as we go through here. So, when did you start? I assume guitar was what you started with. First instrument that you played. Kind of
So
get
yeah, I
going.
was kind of late starting. Like I was driving and owned a car before I bought my first guitar.
Okay.
But that's pretty much guitar's pretty much my instrument. I
Yeah.
can play bass, but I let John do that.
Yeah, let John
Yeah.
do that. He's a great bass player and singer as well. Was there somebody that? I mean, did you learn it on your own, or did somebody help you out with guitar? And
So early on, our youth pastor at our church became Harvey Jett, and he was the lead guitar player for Black Oak, Arkansas. He's the original guy.
okay,
Jim Dandy to the rescue and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so he became our youth pastor at the church I went to.
Was that
And-
here in Shawnee?
Kansas City.
Okay.
He was at, I think it was a church over on 435 on the Missouri side originally.
Okay. Yeah.
But he kind of took me under his wing and taught me to play, and I actually played in his little band at our church, and so I'd take lessons from him once or twice a week, and in turn for the free lessons, then I would come play in his band whenever he needed backup
That's
guitar.
great. Wow.
And so that's kind of my southern rock influence.
Well, that's what an what an introduction
Yeah, yeah.
into guitar 101
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there. Wow. And so did you start in any band in high school or anything like that?
So, these guys came to see me with Harvey Jett, who had a Christian band called Martyr.
Okay.
And I'll drop some names. So Teddy Forshey.
Yeah, we knew Ted.
It was his
Yeah.
gig.
Right.
And Chris Taylor. You probably know Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wanted me to be in their band in Martyr. So I played with them. I guess that was my first band other than playing with Harvey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how long did that last for?
Man, I can't remember. We practiced at my parents' house down the basement, and we went through a lot of drummers, and but we played a lot of gigs. We used to play. Remember the Hot Spot up there in 75th and
The hot spot.
Neiman? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We were regulars there.
So that would be kind of like where the poorhouse is now. Is that right?
So it was across the street where the pavilion is.
Yes. Okay.
Over in that like strip mall gig.
I get you.
Yeah.
And I think Pogo's eventually moved over into that area.
Yeah, I think Pogo's was in there at one time.
Right. Okay. And then Ted, I think he went on to into Forshey. He had a band after his last
so
name.
he went. I think he might have had one band before that, but anyway, he ended up at Forshey,
Okay.
and I started JC Rocks.
JC Rocks.
So that was all our from Martyr, which was a Christian rock band,
Okay.
to JC Rocks.
Sure. No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And anybody of note that was in JC Rocks back in the 80s or anything? I mean, the great thing around here, there's some really good musicians, man. Who else kind of taught you guitar? About how the Eklunds or anything
So
like that?
So Harvey, eventually he was not our youth pastor anymore. I won't go into that, but After that, then I took some lessons from Brett Eklund.
Okay. All right.
At the Big Dudes Music City West.
Sure. Right.
And so he kind of taught me more lead stuff, more theory, and because Harvey was the lead player when I played with him, and so I was the rhythm player.
Right. Right.
How hard of a transition is that to go from rhythm to lead? That's something that I've always kind of wondered, but never really.
So rhythm, is a thick sound because you're playing chords and maybe you're chunking along or maybe you're strumming, and then lead, you're playing single notes or maybe sometimes two notes and then or a bend or something, but you're doing a lot of different things from lead to rhythm. And
was it difficult to switch over from rhythm to lead?
Well, it's kind of the same but different. And so, when you're used to playing chords and it's big and ballsy, and then then you're playing your riffs or your arpeggios or scales or whatever you're doing, then then it's more single notes. And so if you have a rhythm guitar player behind that, then it's nice and full. And if you don't, then it's not quite as full.
Right.
You got to be on your toes a little more.
You're carrying
playing
the whole load,
lead when you're carrying the whole deal.
What do you enjoy between the two more?
I like both.
Okay.
I'm a very Ace Frehley, Ted Nugent lead player. I like to do bends. I don't like to play more notes than you need. I like to keep it simple. There's these guys that play a lot of notes, and I probably like to play more bends. And
you do. You do a great job of it.
Thank you.
You do a great job with Pompous Jack, especially.
Sounds like it depends on the song then. Like what the song calls for.
I mean, I like to keep it simple. We always say kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, Shannon. That's what I heard.
And never put two or one to do. So don't put two notes there if you can only need one.
That's great. Yeah. Well, I'll remember that one as well. So, and you mentioned it. Growing up, your big musical influencer was Kiss.
So Kiss was the band, I mean,
right, sure.
Ace was playing a Les Paul, and he had a pretty good sound, and but they were putting on the show too. I mean, they were. Not only did you want to listen to them, but you wanted to go see these guys. You wanted to see what they were blowing up or what was happening.
So, and we'll talk about your memorabilia, but have you ever met Kiss? Then
I have met 3 of the members of the original members, and then I've met 2 more of the fake Kiss.
Okay, sure, right. Like
this would be the guys who replaced the originals, not like a tribute band Kiss, but
that's right. So like Bruce Kulick, for instance.
Yeah.
I've met him. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Great guitar
he never
player.
wore the makeup. And so he is a good guy as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not up on my Kiss history, so what instrument did he play in that era?
He was a guitar player. Okay. And he was probably their best guitar player. But, of course, Ace is my favorite. And, and Ace is the one that made them songs with them that made them famous. So Ace is the guy,
How did you meet? I assume you met Gene and Paul at the same time. Is that right?
Yeah. So with my guitar lamps, being in the music makers industry, as far as the companies that make the instruments, I joined NAMM back in. I invented the guitar lamp in '99, and I think by 2000 I joined NAMM. And so that's a convention out in Anaheim, California, in January is when it used to be. I've heard they've moved it. But you go out there and all the rock stars are there. So that's where I first met Paul Stanley.
Okay, all right.
And really, he wasn't very cool. I've met since
Bummer.
then. I've met a ton of people. I can show you my memorabilia.
What happened?
And he just was not. He was not friendly, not cool, and everybody else except for one other guy, Jack Russell and Great White.
Oh.
Everybody else has been really cool. I mean, they were just awesome to meet, all these rock stars. But Paul, not so much.
So in what context are they just walking around and you just say, "Hey, man," or is there like they're in a booth and you have to go up to the booth and wait in line for your turn to say something?
Both. They do the booth where they do the autographs, and then they're also walking around NAMM.
And anybody could stop them and
Yeah. It's just a convention. They usually have a couple roadies or handlers with them. That's maybe bodyguards or whatever. But
right.
Yeah.
For guys like me. Get down. Get down. No. So Gene Simmons was cool, though.
Gene Simmons was cool.
Okay.
And,
That's great.
I met him at that Rock and Brew.
Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah, right.
And,
nice.
of course, Paul was there, too.
Yeah.
And so I met Paul a second time.
Okay.
And he was pretty much the same as he was the first time. But Gene was really cool.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. And I assume Ace Frehley was probably the coolest of them all.
Ace was very cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
And I've
seems
not
like a
met
great guy.
Peter, but,
Well, yeah. Right. It's like Ringo.
right. Yeah.
No. Okay, so you mentioned the guitar lamp. How long has the guitar lamp been in business or in production?
Or rather, shall we? If you don't mind, let's step it back a little bit. So you grew up here in Shawnee, Marion,
yep.
and so you've lived your entire life here. Did you ever write, or did you ever move away at any point, or?
Never moved away.
Okay.
I'm ready, though. I'm ready to go south. I'm tired of the cold weather and the snow.
What did lead you into the world of guitar lamps? Because I don't know. The camera that's on you, we've got right to your left, if you want to. That's an example of the work that you've done. And then, of course, in
That's
our
crazy.
other shot.
That's great.
And in our other shot,
Right.
in between, right there.
I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, and you're touching it and
Yeah,
it's blinking.
you just strum it to turn it on and off.
There's trouble. Okay. Neato. Love it.
What led you? How did you conceive of this? What led you down this path? And
So, I was in 1999. I was playing in at that time it wasn't Pompous Jack yet because Pompous Jack started in '99, but in early '99, JC Rocks was coming to an end. My band before, and we were playing some kind of tour. I mean, we were in a van. It's not like we had a bus like we do now, but we were in a van and we were doing some tours. And, I would do the gag with fire shooting guitar, like Ace Frehley. And so I built this guitar that shoots the fire. And so I'm loading it up, with the gunpowder, pouring it down the back of the headstock into the barrel. And so I'm holding it up like this. And I thought, I should try and make a lamp out of a guitar. Instead of having a gunpowder explosion, maybe have a light bulb. And so anyway, when I got back in town, I went on over to Quigley Music. Remember them?
Okay, I remember Quigley. Sure.
Yeah, I went on over there and scored a cheap used guitar. And I chopped it all up and made the first lamp.
Uh-huh.
And the first one actually looked just like this. I think it was a cheap Stratocaster. Not a BC Rich, but anyway, it looked just like this. It was on the base is a mic stand, like a singer would use, and the cord comes out of the jack, and you plug it into the wall, and so it looked just like this. The only difference was the volume knob turned it brighter, so you'd click it. You'd click it on, and then you'd
Just
turn it up and down,
switch, right?
and so. I did a Westport art show when I first got in on this. And people were coming in, touching the strings, but they weren't turning the knobs because they weren't all guitar players, you know. They were art people, and so I just determined right away that I needed to fix the strings up to turn the thing on and off.
So how does that work? To like a switch and a knob, but fixing the chords so that they.
Yeah, so I guess to kind of give away my secret,
It's
yeah, okay, it's a secret.
You don't have to.
But anyway, you strum
Asking
these
the wrong
strings,
questions.
and it comes on and off. You know?
Okay.
That's
and
neat. That's neat.
I've got 2 U.S. patents on my lamps.
Okay.
Wow.
And so anyway, as soon as it became a lamp you strum instead of fiddling with the knobs, then it kind of took off. It was a pretty cool deal.
Separated you from everybody else. Yeah.
Quickly started making lots of them and selling them at art shows. That was my main gig back then, long before my building. But I did strike a deal with Spencer Gifts, had a higher end store back in the 80s called Dappy. There was none in Kansas City. The closest one was St. Louis. But they had 56 stores. And so they ordered 2 guitar lamps to every store.
Right.
And I drop
What a
shipped them.
deal. Wow.
And so all of a sudden, I had a big paycheck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So I bought some drill presses so I could make them faster, and then later when they would reorder and the money kept rolling in, I used that for a down payment for this building.
Yeah. This one
And
right
so
here.
I bought the building in 2000.
In 2000.
Well, that was quick.
Wow.
You started at 99, and you were already successful enough a year later to buy this building that we're sitting in.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't have to have a lot of money down back in the 80s, you know. They wanted to.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I guess we were in the 2000 by then, but
Yeah.
in 2000, at that time, the economy, you didn't need to buy a commercial building. You didn't need a lot of money down.
Yeah.
So we're not talking a ton of money, but
Well, and downtown Merriam wasn't, what it is now. I mean, it's with the farmers market and everything. It's a cool little area down here.
yeah.
So you clearly have a knack for building things, and so like the chair that you're sitting in right now, you built yourself out of a case.
Yeah, it's a road case. We
road
used
case.
to push band equipment around in this one.
When did you? Have you always had that knack? Did somebody show you was it part of growing up that you were just had a hands-on build it yourself kind of mentality? Because your stage is the same way. The stage that your band plays on, Pompous Jack, the round stage, and it rotates.
Yeah. So, when I was little, my dad used to make these moving Christmas displays. And he would make the whole yard would be full of all these motorized things. It would motorize, light up. And, back in them days, we didn't have the LEDs, and you had to do it all the hard way. And so then I started making them with him. And I guess that from my dad's where I learned how to make all this cool stuff,
What better person than your dad?
Yeah.
That's for sure. Did you guys? Where'd you grow up then? Where was your house?
So in Shawnee was where I lived originally. Over there, like 71st and Neiman.
Okay.
Not far from the hot spot. We just walked right on up there.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you have rotating deals in your yard during Christmas or anything?
Yeah. We had Christmas displays.
I must have
we
seen
had
this.
we had a drummer boy with moving arms that would drum, and we had a Raggedy Ann and Andy on a teeter-totter.
There you go.
Which incidentally was made. The motor was a record player, an old record player, which sat up and had a lever hooked onto it, and hooked to the teeter-totter, and as it'd go around, it'd pull that lever in and out and make the teeter-totter work.
Nice.
And we had a jack-in-the-box and
Engineering.
I mean,
man.
we had all this
Engineering.
crazy stuff
Well,
that my dad would build, and then
I
pretty
see.
soon
Yeah.
I'd build it too, you know.
what's your dad's name?
Bill.
Bill's,
Bill Leap, yeah.
Bill's still around?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure he's seen the magic of your work then. I'm sure he's pretty proud of your stage set up and everything.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not so much into music, but he's he's into cool stuff. So
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. And growing up, you with the long hair playing guitar, he had no problems with that. He was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to practice in my parents' basement. So.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they heard a lot of the time while I was learning to play. So
Yeah.
I'm sure
They endured
appreciated it.
That's great. Well, definitely see where you get the whole ideas for the stage setup. And you're a man of vision. You are. This is a great place. Obviously you knew what you wanted to do with this when you bought it.
Yeah.
So,
I had
that's
it all
great.
planned out.
Right. And okay, so go ahead.
And I think this is a good segue into a break.
Oh, okay. We can take a
So
break.
we take a quick break.
Sure.
And come back for the second half of the
All
interview.
right.
All right.
That sounds good.
We'll be
Sorry.
right back.
Sorry, Brian. JC Rocks. Is that what
JC
you're
Rocks.
talking
Yeah,
about?
we
Okay.
did some originals then too, maybe, but we never released anything much.
And so you've gone with the singer bass player, and then you've had a few drummers. Then
Yeah,
Throughout time,
Pompous
here and
Jack's
there.
a lot like Spinal Tap. You
Okay.
know, we look back there and seen the green gobula on the drummer's seat, and so
Right.
then we had to get a new drummer. You know,
right, nice. And who's your current drummer then?
Connie Keller
Connie
is
Keller.
beating the skins for us and
Okay.
singing lead vocal.
And she is singing as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Good deal. Let's talk about your setup then, as far as with your guitar. What brand guitar or what make, whatever.
So my rig, is
rig.
pretty
There you go.
simple. I play Gibson Les Pauls.
Okay.
I really like the hollow Les Pauls.
All right.
They're very rare. They have kind of a little bigger sound, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm playing a lot of the hollow Les Pauls.
Uh-huh.
And I have no effects. I
You
go
have
from the
okay.
guitar to the Shure Wireless.
Uh-huh.
And then the Shure Wireless goes through my tuner pedal, which is not an effects pedal, it's just a tuner, which I don't use no more because I have these automatic tuners that are motorized
Nice. Okay.
up on the headstock, and you push a button and
Technology.
it goes in tune.
Right.
And then so from there it goes straight into the tube amp, and I'm playing through two of the 5150s. They're the PV ones, so the original ones. I have one block letter one, which the guitar guys will know what I'm talking about. It was the first one, and then I have one of the last PV, which was actually called a 5152. And they voice different, and they also output a fraction of a second different time. Like might have the lag, And so I play through both of them at the same time, and it gives me this big, thick sound. You can
Yeah.
almost see the guitar coming out of the speakers. It's so thick.
Well, I've seen things come out of your speakers before.
Yeah.
On a Pompous Jack stage show. And we had just interviewed Skip Godley from Superstar Mafia. He had his first bass that he played on with. Do you have your very first guitar that you played with?
So yeah, my first guitar was not a Les Paul. It was a Stratocaster copy because that's all I could afford.
Sure, right.
And
Yeah.
it's actually hanging on the wall right behind me.
okay.
And it's signed
Nice.
on the back by Harvey Jett,
Okay,
who taught me
sure.
to play,
Yes.
and Jim Dandy and Rick.
That's pretty neat.
So a couple of the Black Oak guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's really cool. And you've got it on display, of course.
We see it on the
Oh, okay. It's right up
It's
there.
right- it's right there
in
by the
corner.
Rolling
right behind
Stones
his head
pin.
in the camera
Shot.
frame.
Look at
Yeah.
us being all fourth wall on that then. Well, that's great. Let's. I do want to ask you about your talk box because you do a really great job
Thank you.
with that.
So, when I was first learning to play guitar, I heard the Peter Frampton talk box. And then, of course, I wasn't as much into Peter Frampton as I was into Joe Walsh.
Ah, yeah.
And Joe
right.
did a good job with the talk
Rocky
box.
Mountain Way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, back then you couldn't just go out and buy a talk box like you can now. And so you had to take a horn driver and hook an amp to it, and then get some silicone and glue up a tube, like a hose, and jam it down in there.
MacGyver.
And jam it down in there, and then you'd run it up the mic stand and put it in your mouth, and then you'd use your mouth to shape the sounds, and then spit it back out into the microphone. And so, a lot of guitar players nowadays cheat, and they buy a pedal that, wah wah, you
Sure.
kind of, but that's cheating. We play a cover called Beverly Hills by Weezer.
Yes.
And
yes.
so that has a talk box guitar solo in it, and it's really cool. And so,
Was it difficult to learn how to use that?
not so much.
No,
I mean, in the
okay.
old day, the new ones you buy, you just set them up and they
Yeah.
work good. The
Right.
old days, if you got that horn driver and had a little too much amp going on, you might have to go get some dental work done after it vibrates
Okay.
your,
Whoa,
your
watch out.
cavities loose,
Right.
But nowadays it's not as you just buy it, put it down there, and I think there's only one other band in Kansas City using a talk box. So it's
A
not
proper
it's
talk
not
box.
you're right, a proper one.
Yeah.
That's right.
Who would that be?
The guy, I think his name's Aaron, in that Bon Jovi cover band, tribute band.
Bob Jovi.
I think
Correct.
I think his
Okay.
he's using one, and I think actually there's two bands. Eric in the M80s is using one for that Bon Jovi "Wanted Dead or Alive" gig.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess there's three of us currently.
Okay. Nice.
No, isn't that Living on a Prayer? Isn't that what the song
Living
is?
on a Prayer. Sorry, I was.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Well, now and then, Pompous Jack. Just describe. I know we kind of talked about your set, but what type of music do you play? Genre wise, or is this all over the place?
We are mainly an 80s rock cover band, but we play some newer stuff that is guitar oriented. As a cover band, you have a three-piece. You have to be selective on what covers you pick.
Yeah.
Like you can't pick a song like a Journey song that's got a bunch of keyboard and and a lot of stuff going on, maybe two guitar parts and that. And so we select our covers that we can say there's a three-piece. This can sound really thick and good. And we don't use any tracks. We don't do any kind of fraud on stage. There's a lot of Kansas City bands. I won't mention names, but nowadays, they're playing with the tracks.
Yeah, they play with tracks.
And why don't they just hire a second guitar player if they want it, or a keyboard player?
Well, what were you saying earlier about keeping your band to a three-piece?
But I keep it to a three-piece, but I select we're not playing any Journey. Journey. If it's got
Sure, you could point.
if it's got keyboard and I can cover it, then I cover it.
Yeah.
You know, like there's
Right.
a Cars song with a keyboard, just what I needed, and I can cover that on guitar, and it sounds pretty good.
Do you guys play that one?
And we used to. We haven't been playing it out.
All right.
People don't seem to dance to the Cars very much. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
Right. Fair enough. With your originals, hey, 5 originals out that you have videos for is really impressive. Well, what goes into that whole writing process and such?
So, my theory is vocals are just the fluff between your guitar riffs and your guitar solos. So I really, I really don't care.
Who needs that?
Now, if you've ever met John and you've had a conversation with him, he's got a lot to talk about. He's got a lot of words. He will talk to you for a long time. And so the way we write, John and I come up with the riff, write a whole song, a verse, chorus, bridge, intro, any kind of structure. And I pretty much, here it is. And I record it. I give it to John. And John comes back a practice later and has some lyrics.
Yeah, good.
And I don't know. I'm not that picky on the lyrics. As long as it sounds good and it flows, then
Right.
then we end up. Sometimes I'll suggest something to him and we change some lyrics, or But eventually, he writes most of the lyrics and I write all the music.
Yeah. Well, it's a working process. It works good for you, so don't change that then at all. Let's kind of shift and talk about you. Get back to you a little bit. So we're in Pompous Jack. Years go by. You've played with some different bands, large national acts.
Yeah.
And so let's start with. I happen to, even though I did not know you in high school, even though we graduated in the same class. I was at Sandstone on June 23rd of 2000 for a Poison show, and saw this guy who got selected play with Poison, and I thought, man, that dude is great. That was good. He had a great lick and everything. And so just tell us about playing with Poison.
Wait,
there.
are you saying that this was Dan himself that got up and played guitar?
Yeah, it was. It was Dan Leap himself. There's the ticket stub right there. I don't know. You can't even see it. It's all messed up. But
It's out of focus.
I saved my ticket stubs.
I was at the 1990 show, and there was no such guest that.
No, I didn't get to jam with them then.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I was there too. Poison is probably my favorite band. After Kiss and Def Leppard, and Poison came along.
I'll tell you what. 99. I think that was the first year they got back together. They broke up at like 90. They kicked CeCe out whenever they kicked him out, and then they kind of broke up in the mid 90s. But I think 99 was the first. That was really the first year of all the hair metal bands started doing those. They started coming back and doing those
grunge. Yeah.
The reunion tours. They kind of got blown, and then that's not, and it hasn't stopped ever since. But I remember being there at that concert in the front row with Keith. And we're close enough to see his face clearly, and it was just like there was an energy to it. Definitely, there was a vibe and an energy that was really.
I've been up close as well. I was like maybe 8th row for a Poison show back in the 80s, though.
So speaking to you, you got to play a solo.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah, so 98.9 The Rock had a contest to play with Poison. And so, back then there was America's Pub in Westport. Remember that?
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, the gig was you had to go down to America's Pub, and there were 60 of us guitar players down there to enter this contest.
That's a lot. You got to have a lot of room for 60 guitar players and their egos.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
So, we all rolled in there, and the gig was you get up on the stage. There wasn't a band or nothing, you get up on stage. and you play a Poison song, and you play it all the way through. So they were up there doing it, and some of them were pretty good at it, some of them were not so good at it, and I played "Talk Dirty" as my song. You could pick any Poison song, and so I rolled up there and played it, and I feel that I played it flawlessly. I was pretty good at that one. Our band played it back then. And so they limited it down to, if I remember correctly, they limited it down to 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I already knew that I could play Poison better than 4 of them. But there was this one dude that could just shred, and he was just a shredder. And, of course, I'm not a shredder. And I was like, man, that dude's probably going to be the dude that's going to win this. And so they had us go back up, and we had to play another Poison song. And the ones that knew Poison, that liked Poison, they had no problem playing another song. I had no problem playing another song. The guy that I thought might be better than me, he didn't even like Poison. He thought they were cheesy. And he hadn't learned a second song. And so he went up there and just kind of not really played a Poison song at all.
He was out.
He had no clue because he wasn't a true fan.
Get that shit out of here.
And so, man, I got up there and
What was the second song?
nothing but a good time.
Okay. Well, you named the two of the biggest ones. I mean, wasn't every guitar player? Wasn't that would those have been the 2 that most?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Poison fan, you're going to play Nothing But a Good Time, and you're going to play Talk Dirty to Me.
Yeah.
And you probably played Talk Dirty to Me. Back then, you would have played that one better because it had been out longer.
Right.
And Nothing But a Good Time came later. And so...
did anybody try to switch it up and play a different, lesser-known,
Oh, yeah, there was some people that played like I Won't Forget You. Which, incidentally, Pompous Jack covers that one because there's more people know it than you think.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but anyway, they selected me and I won, and they wanted me out at Sandstone at like 10 a.m. I was like thinking, rocker guys, 10 a.m. That would be kind of early in the morning.
Yeah.
But no, I got to hang out with them and sound check with them, and we kind of jammed in the dressing room, and so I got to go to
did
eat
anybody,
with them, and
you had to what?
we went and ate dinner with them,
Okay.
and
Nice.
I'd already had the guitar lamp by that time. It was kind of fresh because the guitar lamp was in '99. This was in 2000,
This was
so it was
2000,
fresh. And I took 2 of them out there, and Brett Michaels, the singer of Poison, ended up buying both of them.
Wow.
And he's went on to his one in one of his houses was on the MTV Cribs, and the other one was in that People magazine. And so he was featured in that. Yeah.
Did you? Did
go.
anybody happen to have a camera at the time to take a photo of you with the band while you're in?
Yeah, and
There's
not
a photo
only
of
that,
that?
I have a video. Brett was cool enough to allow me to put my camcorder out at the mixer at Sandstone, so it was like a ways out there. And it's on our Pompous Jack YouTube.
Wow. Right on.
So you can scope that one out.
That's neat.
Remind me to put that in the description of the link of the video, our video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and back then, when you see it now, my hair is huge. Back then Poison was making the big hairspray, big hair.
Yeah.
And so my hair was pretty big.
What were you wearing?
I was
for
wearing
that?
the Tommy Hilfiger jeans that had stars, white stars
That's it.
all over.
You had stars on.
Yeah, I still got them. I'm going to break them out one of
Okay.
these days when I lose about 20 pounds.
And what song did you play again?
Well, I played Every Rose with them.
Okay.
Nice.
And you did the solo.
No, they were uncool about. They wanted CC to do the solo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I played it at the sound check and it was fine, but they, you know, Cece's got to do the solo.
Oh, well, for that song, So that was the only song you played, and it was basically just the rhythm.
Yeah. They pulled me out there. I played my Silver Sparkle Hollow Les Paul.
And where were you at on the stage? Where were you positioned?
I was right between Bobby Dahl, the bass player, and Brett.
And how far up front were you?
I was right up front.
You were like not kind of hanging in the back by the drums by Ricky, but
but
you're all the way up
right on the front. In the video, you'll see Bobby Dahl comes over. We jam together. Cece comes by and fluffs my hair. And they were. Brett is probably the coolest celebrity musician that I've ever met. Brett is just
great.
He's really cool.
Yeah.
That's so is
awesome.
Ricky and the rest of them. They're all cool.
Right. Well, it's great, you know, that you got that full circle deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, I was sad they didn't let me play the solo. But, you know, I won the contest to play with the Ian Gillan.
Okay, yes.
And some Deep Purple guys.
Ian Gillan
a little more
Purple.
recent than that. Mm-hmm. And they did let me solo. In fact, I played the ending solo of the night in Smoke on Water.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a song. Like, that's everybody's first song they learn, right?
Yeah. Except for I didn't learn it, but
okay.
to play that contest was about timing. And so you call in on the radio and you play the riff, that, you know.
Yeah.
And they had a metronome going and they'd count you off, which I didn't know that. Nobody knew that. And so whoever stayed on time was the guy. And so remember all that rhythm playing I learned from Harvey Jett.
Okay, sure.
I had the best timing. And so I won that contest and got to play with them.
And what year was this?
Man, I want to say 2009. That's a while back.
Nice.
But anyway, it was a gig to play rhythm guitar. But when I got there and Ian Gillan said, "Well, let's hear you do some solo," you know, in his British voice, and so I played some solo, and I actually learned that I didn't like the middle solo because it's kind of just, I don't know, I didn't like that one. That's too much memory for me. Like I can't remember all that crap.
Yeah.
But the ending solo is about bends and about, you know, it's a little different. That's my style. So I learned that one. And when he had me play, I played it. He's like, "You're playing the last solo of the night." And so
Man,
they let me rock. I got video of that on our Pompous Jack YouTube also.
Okay. All right. And where did that take place?
That was at the Voodoo Lounge.
That was at the Voodoo.
Yeah.
All right. What other original members of Deep Purple were?
I don't know. They all signed that guitar right there in that table.
Oh yeah, the table.
But
it's got a guitar.
I was not. I would have been the guy like that Poison guy that didn't really know Deep Purple songs.
Oh, okay.
If they would have asked me to play a second one, I would have had no clue.
I do not have a ticket stub to that, by the way. Only the Poison one.
Yeah. Well, the Poison one was probably the funner of the two gigs.
Yeah. Hey, it's, Sandstone. You can't go wrong with that.
So, kind of circling back to what we talked about earlier about this building that you bought that we're in right now. Tell us about what you've done with it, what you do in it, as far as this is where you manufacture your guitar lamps. But also, you have a stage downstairs set up, and all these pinballs behind you, and as we could see in the shot.
Yeah. So this is like a multi-purpose house and shop, and the upstairs I finished into my loft where I live. And
so this is your residence. You don't go home at the end of the night to a house somewhere else. This is it.
This is the gig.
Okay,
right in the rotating bed. Right
there
back
you go,
in there.
Austin Powers.
Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Hey.
So the upstairs is where I live. I have a lot of parties here, obviously. Why
We've
not?
been to a couple parties.
I
here.
did. I was not. I was occupied
I thought you were
that last
here.
time. We met somewhere later, wherever we were going that night.
You say you ditched the party here, man.
I had obligations.
You can go to the
Brian
next
Rice,
one.
you
Right?
know.
I think it was the Zeros. Dun dun dun.
Oh, yeah, one of them bands.
It's a great setup though down there, man. I mean, you got the whole stage. You got bleacher or chairs for people sitting
Yeah.
at tables. It's
Yeah, so the downstairs, originally in 2000, my intention was to have a retail store, which I did have for a lot of years. I sold my lamps and everything else I would make. I mean, I make more than just the guitar lamp. I make cymbal sconces and flute lamps, and clarinet lamps, violin lamps.
okay. Did not
Any
know that.
instrument can be a lamp. And so I had the store, and I sold furniture like you see here, kind of more modern type stuff. And, it did really good the first few years. And then the internet took off back then. And I was selling more guitar lamps online, shipping to other, like California and Texas, bought a lot of guitar lamps. In North Dakota, not so much,
Okay. Well, yes. Anybody of note that you've shipped?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've
okay.
already mentioned Brett Michaels.
Right.
Yeah. Nugent's got one.
Oh, Uncle Teddy.
Tracy Guns has got one.
Nice. Nice.
The drummer, Stephen Sweet in Warrant,
okay.
he's got one. The Jonas Brothers, Joe Jonas got one, and it was on their. Remember when they had that morning TV show, like the Jonas Brothers TV show?
No.
It was on their set, like
Oh,
it was
hey,
part
cool.
of the gig, man.
Wow.
And
So he was pretty proud of that then. He liked
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Nice.
and Brett and Poison had that
Mm-hmm.
Rock of Love. I made those cymbal sconces that were on
Okay.
that show.
What's a sconce again?
So it's a cymbal would go on the wall, and then the light would be behind it, and the
And then,
light
like,
would radiate out
okay.
from behind it. And so
I was at the last time I was visiting somebody, and he's a drummer, and he converted a drum kit into a chandelier.
nice. I've seen one of those at a Hard
And
Rock Cafe.
Yes, and that was pretty. Have you ever done anything? So you haven't done anything with drums like that?
So I've made several drum tables. In fact, I have one sitting downstairs right now. I don't know of drums, more as cymbals, I guess. I do a clock and a sconce, but the drums, I do a table.
It's all listed right here in this magazine, Man
There it
Caves.
is, right in the magazine.
Man Caves that you're on here. Let's show that real quick. You know what? I'm horrible with, and there's, you can't even see it. It's not even focused. But you're in Man Caves with, I mean, this couch that we're sitting on, this 57 Bel Air couch right here. It's impressive, man.
Yeah. Well, and my place has been on HGTV, and
Okay.
that's
There's
cool.
the drum
Yeah.
Yeah.
chandelier.
There's one just
Nice.
like he got the idea, I think, from the Hard Rock. I've
Probably,
seen it
yeah.
at the Hard Rock. Yeah.
And you've been on HGTV then.
Yeah. I've been on a show called Offbeat America, and then a show called Look What I Did,
Yeah.
and then I
Look
was
What I
on
Did.
Fine Living Network. And
Now, how do they discover you?
so this is funny. The first time I was on HGTV, the Offbeat America show, they called me, and they were in town at a house in Mission Hills. And I guess it had no character. For some reason, they scrubbed it. And so somebody somewhere that was with the film crew said, you need to call up Dan Leap and go to his place. And so they called me, and they're like, want to come over the next day. And I'm like, dude, I got to do some cleaning, and I spent all night cleaning. But they came over the next day, and they loved it, and it turned out to be Good show. It's
Nice.
If you wanted to see it like on YouTube, you could go to guitarlamp.com, which is my website.
Okay.
And on the front page, just scroll it down, and it's going to have the links to all my HGTV shows.
Wow.
And how all of them? So how many?
So there's like 3, and then there's a deal with Jesse James Dupree from Jackal.
Yeah.
He got a guitar lamp, and there's a deal with him showing it off. That's on there also.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, like at full throttle or
At
just
his house?
At his house.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice job.
Yeah.
Nice job. Way to go. Now, and let's just talk about the memorabilia. You got memorabilia on 2 of the major walls here. I mean, that's just years of hounding autographs, man. I mean, you're pounding the pavement for that stuff.
Yeah, I might not have worked as hard as some of them.
Okay. W2
when you go to NAMM, right, you're a member of this NAMM, for the guitar lamps.
Okay.
You can acquire a lot of autographs quickly. Like in one day, you might score 10. And NAMM's a 3-day gig, so you hang around there.
So not necessarily a lifetime of gradual collection, but just like a one quick burst of a whole bunch.
Yeah, I mean, there was once the guitar lamp came about, it opened a lot of doors to meet a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. And
sure.
I used to laugh and say that I make more money cutting up the guitar than I do playing it, because the lamps at a certain time period made a lot more money than I made playing music. Now that's switched now, because last year we played almost every weekend.
Yeah.
And the lamp sales has went down.
Right.
Everybody wants one, but you don't necessarily need a guitar lamp.
Sure.
Yeah.
It'll be back in style. Don't worry about it. It'll come back around.
So you indicated earlier that you had a retail shop, but then you started selling a lot more online. Is that basically the reason you shut down the retail part of it then?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes having an employee or 2 is sometimes a pain in the butt.
Yes.
And so,
right.
And with my home being upstairs and my shop being down below, I don't know. Now the place that used to be the retail is my shop for building my lamps. And so I got drill presses and saws and then
he's got T-shirt press too. That's where I printed this. He made, or he didn't make.
Yeah,
he showed
Shan
me.
came over and we had a bring your own shirt. Get a free Pompous Jack shirt, and you just bring your shirt, put it on my press.
Got his own
and
press.
silk screen away. And so people came over and made their Pompous Jack shirts. We need to do that again pretty soon. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
That was fun.
That was real good.
Drinking and printing.
It's a dangerous combination right there.
I'm just now realizing the cover of the magazine is exactly where we're sitting at this second.
Yeah. We are sitting in the...
Yeah.
I should have brought the silver guitar out.
Oh, is it this one? Is that the one? Oh, there you go.
There it's focused. Now we're in focus.
There it is.
Oh,
and it's on the screen. Okay. Switch it back.
Nice job. Nice job. And then just with your memorabilia, any one piece in particular that you're very proud of or anything like that?
I kind of like all of it.
Okay.
I guess maybe the one that's kind of hanging up center back here is kind of cool.
Tesla?
Jesse James Dupree at Jackal was here. Actually, several times up here in this space.
Up here at the garden. Wow.
And also downstairs in the stage area where we have the parties. He got a lamp, and anyway, he brought me that award, and it's an RIAA award for their first album, and it has my name on it and everything presented to me, and so.
Well, that's really nice.
So that was pretty cool. I mean, he delivered it. He brought it here on one of his visits. So
I've heard he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he is very cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Way to go.
He's the one that has which Jesse James Dupree.
It's in Jackal.
But he
that's
also
the
has
one-
the whiskey.
Yeah,
I think
Full
I've had
Throttle.
I've had his whiskey. I think.
Yeah. Whisker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course you have. Yes, you have. Very nice. Well, let's do a couple quick questions for you.
Okay.
It's a kind of a 3-question deal here. Let's see. What is? Oh no, we've talked about that. We've talked about. Well, tell us about. Oh yeah, no. Tell us more about your mobile stage and your tour bus.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So the tour bus. I make all this mechanical stuff, right? I've done it since I was a little kid, and stuff breaks, and so incidentally, that is my reason for hating to fly. I do not fly.
All right, fair enough.
And so now it's been 11 years since I've flown. I went to Vegas. It was my last flight. And I took a nonstop because I hate to fly, so I don't want to land and take off more than I have to. And, we had to wait for a connecting flight, and we had, I don't remember all the delays, but it was just no good. And it took 9 hours from the time I dropped off my rental car in Vegas till I got here. And then, of course, it's another 45 minutes from the airport to here. And I said that day, I'm going to buy a tour bus for my band and to travel in. And, I ended up looking at about 10 of them. There was one in Wichita. The rumor is this belonged to Joe Walsh, but I can't confirm that.
Okay, all right.
But Joe Walsh is from Wichita, so maybe I have Joe Walsh's old tour bus. I don't know.
Wow.
But I bought it, and it's a Silver Eagle. And if I would have known, after I bought it and all the fun I was going to have and I used to have Corvettes back in high school. I had a white Corvette.
Okay, all right.
But if I would have known the bus, how cool it was, I would have spent my money on a bus back then.
That would have been hard to park at Shot Mission Northwest.
Yeah, well, we parked out on the curb before we got our parking
They've
pass.
taken up 3 or 4 spaces.
We had to park on the curb, and then once we got our pass, then we could go in there.
Yes, right.
But
nice.
Yeah, so the bus has been great. We take it even to local shows because
you pull it out front.
sometimes you just need a green room to get out of, to get away from everybody for a minute, to change your clothes and gather your thoughts. And
That's great. That's great.
So yeah,
and you just had a new floor put in it, right?
Yeah.
Like
I just had
ago.
a new a bamboo wood floor.
Nice. Yeah.
I traded that. A guy came around wanting one of these tables and a guitar lamp and a violin lamp. Oh, he wanted some stuff. And it turned out he did flooring, so I said, "Well, hey, let's trade this."
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And so the bus has been great.
And
It's
then
fun.
the mobile
And then-
stage.
And then, so the stage got a funny story, and actually my bass player John Canterbury, he tells it great. And but what happened was we used to play parades, lots of parades, and so we'd borrow my dad's car trailer, and we would set up on that. And so then finally I got my own trailer, my own car trailer, and so we'd set up on that, and that's when we brought the rotating drum riser. Put it on there and started building some staging. And, be damned if it didn't rain on us at some of these parades. And so I said, well, maybe we should build a roof, And so I built a roof over it. And then, the rain, you get a roof, but that's still, the rain sometimes don't come straight down. It's sideways sometimes.
Yeah, right.
And so I said, well, what if we put some garage doors on the sides and a front and a back and completely enclose it? So now we're at the parade and we're done playing, but we want to go over and eat some food, but we don't want people stealing our gear, our guitars and stuff. So then we just close it up,
Close it and lock it.
And so we did parades for, we did about 13 parades a year, and we did them for probably about 13 years. And we promoted the band and my lamps, and we won we won almost every parade. We'd win first or second place, and so anyway, we eventually quit doing parades. We just didn't have the drive to do that anymore.
Yeah, and you're just. Did you have to pay to participate in the parade, or you just?
No, we never had to pay. In fact, a lot of times they'd pay us.
Okay.
So, because they would want a musical act with a rotating riser, and we had rotating guitars. And we had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Has there ever been a gig where the rotating drum kit got jammed and stopped in the middle of rotating?
And there was one time, I believe it was the Uptown Theater. The gear
Facing the wrong way.
The gear broke, and so we had to go up there and by hand and turn it back around.
But was that in the middle of a set?
Yeah, it was the middle of a song. Man.
So where was your drummer
just
facing?
Kind of cockeyed. It wasn't backwards facing. It was just kind of cockeyed. But the first drum riser, which actually I still have the first one. It's the one downstairs right now.
Okay.
We have more of them because I have two of everything. So we leave one set of gear set up downstairs for rehearsal and parties, and then the other set of gear we used to just leave in the trailer, not the stage trailer, but the small trailer. But it got stolen 2 years ago, so now
I remember that. That was bogus.
So now we bring the stuff inside.
Yeah.
The trailer's always empty, but we have two drum risers. But the first one was belt drive, and you can go down there and look under it, and it's got belts go from small pulleys to big pulleys to gear it down.
Right.
And the new one's got a transmission, so it's more direct drive.
Yeah, there you go.
But so the stage, we quit doing the parades, and now we just take the stage, we pull it with the bus, we take it to events.
Yeah, DeSoto.
You played. Was it 2 years ago? You played PJs, PTs. Whatever.
Oh yeah,
103rd and 69
PJs.
Highway.
Yeah, the barbecue.
Yeah, and that was
4th of July.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they hired us for 4th of July, and we were the first band to go in there and bring our own stage and pyro and the turning drum riser, and man, we did it
You're
up.
a man of vision, bro.
Yeah.
You are. That's for sure. You know exactly what you want.
If you're having a private party. We can bring a stage to your dead end street or to your wherever you want, and if you're having a festival and you don't have a stage yet,
So do you rent your gear for other bands to use, or is it all exclusively
I will rent
used?
the stage only.
You mean like the trailer stage?
Yeah, the whole stage, and maybe the lighting. I don't rent any sound equipment because I do sound for my band, but I'm not interested in being a sound guy, and I can't always repair the electronic sound equipment where the stage, if something gets messed up, I can definitely I build it, so I can repair it if something gets messed up.
Yeah, nice. That's great. Let's see if there's anything else on here that I wanted to ask you. Oh, wait, you know what? You do have guitar lamps on the mobile stage too. I noticed that.
So, that's a funny story.
And on your acoustic gigs.
That is
Barley's.
a funny story.
Right.
So the parades, we promoted the guitar lamps and the band because we're parades, and the lamps with the table model lamps like this one was set on the 412 guitar cabinet on each of them. And so, when John joined the band, he had only seen the parades, and we were loading up for our first gig, an actual band gig, not a parade. And he said, well, where's the guitar lamps? And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, don't you put them on stage? I go, well, no, I never have. I do them for the parades, to advertise for the parades. And he's like, well, why don't they go on stage? And I said, well, why don't they go on stage? That's a damn good idea, John.
Right.
And so we loaded up too at his first gig with me, and we've done it ever since.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a nice addition to everything as well.
Especially for an acoustic gig. I felt like
Yeah, so-
when I've seen you do Barley's the acoustics, and you had a couple flanking. That was really
It just seemed normal since we'd done the guitar lamps on our Pompous Jack stage so long that we would take it to the acoustic gigs.
Speaking of gigs, what's your next gig?
So we are
coming
at the
up?
Thirsty Bull.
Thirsty Bull. That's
on
a
May-
newer bar, right?
Yeah, new bar.
Where's that
up
again?
North, like really close to Berry Road. You can Google it, but Thirsty Bull.
Thirsty Bull. And when is I
And
apologize?
it
I
is
interrupted
May
you.
24th,
Okay.
which incidentally, my birthday is May 23rd, so
Oh,
we're kind
shit.
of having it as my
Uh-oh.
birthday party.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that'd be a good one, right?
It's going to be fun. Yeah, there's
All
going to be
right.
some new
That's,
surprises.
is that Labor Day weekend?
It is.
Oh, okay. Brian Rice, Kansas City Knights, watch out.
All right.
Also, let's talk about you've got something coming up on TV, right?
yes.
Yeah, so Kansas City Limits.
Right. Great guys.
They contacted me, and so they came here to my studio, Party Pad, and filmed us last night.
Hey, you're a
And
busy man now.
So it will be airing, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks. And,
and that'll be airing on what channel?
I don't know if it's Channel 4 or 29 or I don't know.
All right. And they've also got their own YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
So-
It'll probably air on there first and then air on TV because they do a bunch of segments in a row on the actual TV airing.
And you played songs for them, right?
Yeah, so we did 3 songs. Last year they only did original bands, but this year they opened it up for cover bands. But
Nice.
we wanted to do originals, so we did 2 originals and 1 cover. So we started with "Give It a Chance," which
Yeah,
is the
great one.
video
Yeah.
that we've made that you've talked about, and then we did the Weezer "Beverly Hills," which has the talk box guitar solo.
Right.
And then our newest original release, "Nightmare," is our 3rd song.
Okay, which I need to listen to Nightmare. I
Yeah,
know
it's
that
on
one.
it's on every streaming platform you can buy
You
music.
can imagine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then for people who want to find out more about Pompous Jack, where do they go? What do they do?
PompusJack.com is
Yes.
the
PompusJack.com.
best place to go.
All right. Or
And
guitarlamp.com
you could go
as
to
well.
you could go to guitarlamp.com. There's a link to get back to PompusJack.com.
Okay.
You can go to Pompous Jack. You can go to Facebook/PompusJack,
Yep. Right.
and you could go to YouTube.
You guys are all over the place. You got it covered.
Yeah.
You're good. You got it covered.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Dan, thank you for letting us
Yeah,
come here and set
right.
up. It's a
This has
cool
been
setup.
great.
The pinball machines, all the signed things that you got in one day. You got all those signed in one day.
one day.
But yeah, very much enjoyed it. You have a great setup here.
Yeah.
And a great thing going with the guitar lamp stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, thanks for,
it's exciting
thanks for coming
to
over.
see, to know that people that resonates with people, and more importantly, it's kind of given you you've been able to make a living with it. You know, in
Yeah.
addition to the music, that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Well, thank you.
You're a man of vision.
Thanks for
That's
having me on your show.
Hey, now, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Leap.
There you go,
Yay.
Pompous Jack. Way to go.
Okay, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Leap.
Kansas City Knights. Yeah.